Hello everybody and welcome to Marvin Gardens May 2021. As a matter of fact, it's May 31st, the very last day of May, but still it's May, so we can be shooting the May garden video. Oh, yes, Cassie? What's the matter? Okay, you want to come up? Oh, say hi to everybody? There you go. Is that all you wanted? Say hi to everybody. Okay, enough of that. Today is actually Memorial Day, like I said, and we've got lots to show you because there's been a lot going on. So let's get started, as we say. And we'll start over here at the herb garden, or one of the herb gardens, I should say. Mr. Coco has decided to stand up on the rocks because he's tired of getting smothered by the garlic chives, which, as you can see, are doing just fine. And this monster in front here, we think, is Italian giant parsley. If it is, it's certainly living up to the name and flowering happily. And then kind of hidden down beneath here is German winter time. I've got a few bunching onions in front here that aren't doing so good, but this is the surprise of the month, I guess. I was expecting that these were pond irises, and they are, but I thought they'd be the yellow variety, and they are this delightful purple variety, and so that's nice. Now they may end up taking over this bed completely, which is okay because stuff doesn't grow all that well in this bed, and that's why I've got another herb garden going. But over here we do have chives, which are blooming as they do in May, and in front of that is some mammoth dill and some cilantro, and finally some basil. And that's all that's going on there. In the greenhouse, there's basically nothing going on. I mean, all the seedlings that were in here, we've got them all out and planted. So it's served us well this year. In fact, right down below here is some of the ornamental grass that Vanina's been working on. We also got ourselves a new little mowing device for when Vanina wants to mow wide open spaces. But let's head over here to bed number 1, and I'll get away from facing into the sun. We got more blooming pond irises over here, and I've got the hanging baskets off the mini barn here, at least all planted, and they seem to be doing okay. Now, last time we showed you lettuce that was radishes that were showing, and now I'll show you radishes that are popping out of the ground. I'm hoping you can see that. I'm not really doing very well at aiming, but you can see that those radishes are ready to go. In fact, I probably should have harvested some already, but I wanted to get them into the video. And right next to that, we've got these silky white turnips, and they are also coming in just fine. I probably need to get in there and do a little thinning of those. And not showing last time, but showing now, are 2 rows of carrots coming in well. Not ready to be thinned quite yet, but Nantes half long and 126 Danvers. Kind of weird names, but who knows? They looked promising, the pictures anyway. And then we've got our brassicas, starting with cauliflower, flame star, white corona, and this is a variety called Attribute, and I didn't really notice that they form their heads in like 30 days. So when all of a sudden these little heads started showing up, before the leaves were even big enough to cover them, I thought something was going on wrong, and I just let them grow, and they didn't get much bigger. Instead, they just sort of, went into the flowering stage. So we harvested them. They're probably still edible, but not at their prime, that's for sure. And then down here we have cabbage called Overture. And then here's the other oddity of this season. These other three plants here that are all kind of fallen over and blooming yellow were supposed to be the same cabbage, but when the seedlings started coming up, it was obvious that they were not cabbage. So I let them grow, and I put them on a separate row, and they weren't broccoli. They weren't broccoli rabe. And I finally, looked them up on Google by taking a picture of them, and there's some kind of a mustard. So it's still a brassica, but I have no idea how they got it. I think that the seed packet itself just got some bad seeds in it. But anyway, we're going to start some more cabbage and plant them out here. Now, if you can look down there, I think am I showing it? Yeah. It's hard to see, but there is our broccoli heads actually starting to form on this couple small rows of broccoli. And then we've got Brussels sprouts, and this year I'm growing Green Gems as the variety, and I have no idea how those are going to turn out. I've never grown them before, but I did all of my seed shopping from Burpee this year, because I think I told you for some reason Johnny's was not taking gardener's orders, only professional bulk orders. Anyway, this is herb garden number 2, and that's some more mammoth dill right there, next to some basil. It's a pesto party is the variety. Cilantro, some more of the chives. I don't know what the variety is. And then the garlic chives, or Asian leeks as they're called. A little more mammoth dill and parsley. And with this parsley we begin what I've always wanted to grow in order: parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Anyway, that's just me. Okay, let's go over here to the Pet Memorial area, take a look around, and some of the annuals are coming back and blooming. It's getting a little overrun by pond irises. I need to come in here and thin things out a little bit, but other than that, things are at least looking well. And here at the end of bed number 1 is where I planted some leftovers, some leftover summer squash and some leftover tomatoes, because I didn't really have anything else to plant in there, so I figured I'd plant some extras. And other than my shadow, there's not much else in the compost pile yet. But that'll change eventually. And here we have, now this kind of probably looks very similar to the way that it looked in the April video, but there is certainly a lot that has happened, and it didn't look like this the entire time. Let's take a quick break and go back to earlier this month, and I'll show you what I mean. Well, it's the 1st of May, And what used to be there is over there. We had crazy winds yesterday, and my new little grow house just got blown off its meager foundation and eventually made its way over to the eastern fence of the garden. Some of the poles are broken, some of them are bent. I don't know if I'm going to be able to resurrect this thing, but I'm going to try. Not a great way to start May. You can probably still hear the wind going too. It's supposed to die down today eventually, but I got a surprise job to take care of here. We'll see how I do. Well, this is the best I could do, and it's kind of like when the dad in A Christmas Story tries to put the leg lamp back together. It is just on the verge of collapsing at any moment, because every one of these places that is marked with black tape means there is an actual clean break in the metal structure, and when it's on two sides, it means there was a clean break on both sides. So you can see that the tape in some cases is just, that's all that's holding it together. You can also see that one of the curved archway pieces got bent. It's going to be almost impossible to get bent back into the same shape. And on top of all that, the covering, which is still in a crumpled pile over there, is a very tight fit, even if the structure is perfect. So I am making the executive decision that this frame is a total loss due to wind damage, and I'm just going to buy a whole nother unit, which means I'll end up, well, if they're available, I'll end up with a frame and two covers. So and it's very possible that the covers themselves will only last a season, so that might not be such a bad thing anyway. But that's it. We lost the grow house. At least nothing was growing in it. It happened early in the season, so I should be able to get the new one and get it up before it's time to plant the melons in there. Okay, that's all for May 1st. Okay, so now it's not quite the middle of the month, and although that looks the same as it did practically on April 30th, that is a brand new structure. Well, at least the frame is brand new. I was able to salvage the skin or the covering there, and because it wasn't too badly damaged, so I have a brand new skin that's untouched and ready to be used as a replacement in case this one gets damaged or wears out, etc. And there's a couple of guy wires. I don't know if you can see them very well, that I've got tied to the middle support on, or the middle rail, I should say, on this side, and I've attached them from the roof joints to the fence here, and marked them with some streamer things so that I don't decapitate myself. And beyond that, if I can get here close, you can see that I have planted the melons, which is what we're planning to grow in here this year. So at least the disaster was resolved before we had anything even growing there, and hopefully it'll hold up to a fairly stiff wind, and hopefully it'll also last more than a season. So we'll see. So yeah, we got everything back together anyway. You know, and I've, like I say, patched up some of the problem areas, and but structurally it looks like it's pretty sound, and I've got all my guy wires, and even got the bottom of the sides buried in soil, and bricks on top, and hay mulch on top of that. So it's looking pretty good now. Let's hope it holds. Now that brings us to bed number 2 here officially, and I had a little vacancy here and a couple of extra basil plants, so I planted them down there. They seem to be happy. Now, as usual, we've planted an entire bed full of onions, but the onions, they're just kind of suffering a little bit. They're sort of scraggly and stunted, and I don't know why. They're acting as if there's something in the soil or something not in the soil that they don't like. Now, these scallions seem to love it here, and they're looking like what I would expect the onions to look like at this point. And then we've got a couple of rows of leeks here, and you know, I got kind of mixed results there. Some of them are like curly and stunted, and there's a few that are growing in kind of nicely, but so I'm not really sure what's going on with this bed. This is the red variety. We only did 2 varieties of onions this year, and you can see they're just sort of curly and yucky looking, like they don't like what's going on in that soil. But we'll hope for the best. I've given them some fertilizer, and if I could remember which direction is up and down on this camera, it would help a lot. Anyway, this is bee balm, not quite ready to bloom yet, but coming up nicely. And in the shadows there are eggplant, Black Beauty this year, and then our stand of peppers. We've got Dragon Roll, which is supposed to be a hot pepper, Tangerine Dream, California Wonder, and Thunderbolt, and they're all doing okay. They, you know, haven't really started taking off yet. They're not blooming yet, but they don't look too bad. Now, this stand of lettuce looks pretty darn good. It's called Burpee Bib, which I've never grown before, but I had to put the fencing around it because something was getting in here and munching on the lettuce before we had a chance to munch on it. Now, spinach, you know, I don't know, there's something about me and spinach. These leaves a few days ago looked fine, and look at them, they're just like all of a sudden, yuck. I don't know why. How about you guys? Do you guys know why? No, they don't know why either. All right, so now that brings us to bed number 4, and this is where I'm growing some flowers instead of vegetables, just because. This is statice, and I just thought that'd be interesting to grow statice, because I used to put it on the Christmas tree as decoration. So we'll see how that does. This is a straw flower, supposed to be a mix of colors and a tall variety. And this is German chamomile, which is blooming nicely already. It was actually starting to bloom before I even got it into the ground. The seedlings were. And that brings us to okra, and I'm getting mixed results with the okra. This one right here is looking fine. This one right here is not, and neither is that one right there. So again, at least maybe I'm going to end up with one good row of okra, but right now it's touch and go. And next to that we've got the pole beans, and I'm growing 2 varieties, Kentucky Blue in the front there, and then an asparagus yard-long pole bean in the back. And those are just always fun to grow, those big yard-longs. This next stand is where I decided to put the sunflowers, mammoth sunflowers. And as you can see, some of them are starting to live up to their name, at least the plants are. And some of them are just emerging. That's because some of the seedlings got gnawed off or just did not take when I put them in here. And so I've replanted them a couple of times. And at least I got enough backup stuff that I think I'll get a nice full bed of sunflowers, even if they're staggered in their development. All right, let's go on to bed number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I always have to count them. You'd think I'd know by now. Anyway, this is tomatoes, and I had problems with my tomato seedlings again this year too, so I ended up getting some store-bought plants, courtesy of Lowe's, but we've got 4 varieties actually here, because one of my the tomatoes that I ordered, actually I ordered plants by mistake, and when they came they were pretty good. So I've got them planted around. Mountain Magic. I've also got Chadwick cherries back there. This is Aroma, and that's the store-bought. And Parks Whopper Improved is what this one is, and hopefully we'll get some whoppers out of that. It'd be nice. But you never know with tomatoes. Sometimes you get good years, sometimes you don't. The rest of these are summer squash. We've got and they're all little round summer squashes, just for grins, no particular reason. You got Pick and Pick, you got Lemon Drop, and some zucchini, Ford Hook zucchini. And finally, you saw this the last time, we've got a row of leeks going on here. And same thing. Some of them look okay, like that one there. And some of them are kind of curly and yucky looking, like that one there. So, who knows? I don't know. That's for sure. Anyway, I've got pond irises planted all over the place. And they are blooming nicely for the most part. But let's take a quick stroll out here to the asparagus bed. And I haven't shot any drone footage yet, but I'm hoping to, so maybe we'll see some of that. In fact, well, I'll tell you that later. All right, so let's take a quick stroll around here. And I'll show you the asparagus once we get there. Okay, as you can see, they're growing up pretty nicely. I'm not going to be able to walk around this bed because we had just a disgustingly wet and cold Memorial Day weekend, except for today. Today has redeemed the entire weekend. But we're off the subject of asparagus. These guys are growing up well, and there's some more that we can harvest in there. These are the ones that I've left to grow up. We did get some asparagus beetles early on, but I was ready for them this time and picked them off by hand and sprayed them, and I think we're in pretty good shape now. We're almost done with the harvest. We've gotten several pounds, the best asparagus harvest I've ever had, and this is only the second year of harvesting, actually, I believe, and we've got a little more to go. So so far so good. I do have some vacancies somewhere that they didn't come up, but they might still come up later. And here's our marsh, which is looking pretty good, actually. Lots of pond irises and lots of cattails as well. And we did get some actual cattails out of those plants last year. And judging from the number of them and how far along they are this year at about the same time, we're going to get a lot more. So the marsh is looking good. Let's go back here because there's not much else to show you. However, I will tell you that the May event, hold on guys, I'm coming in. Wait a minute, I'm coming in. Nobody's going out. I'm coming in. And I'm not doing very good with camera work, so maybe I'll be doing footage. The other interesting event for May is that this is the May where brood X cicadas come out, and that means brood X's are the ones that sleep for, well, they exist for 17 years underground, and then they come out. Now, locally, right here at Sky Manor, we don't get swarms of them, but we've got probably hundreds back in the wood, not thousands or tens of thousands like other places in Jersey. It's very localized, whether or not you get them. But they're up in the trees and they're making noise, and I'm hoping to get a clip that shows you the sound and maybe shows you a few of them. If I do, I'm going to cut that in right now. And so you either saw it or I didn't get the shot the way I wanted it to. But let's see here. What we got is our pond, our little water features here. And you'll see that I got another one of those delightful purple pond irises coming in. I got some yellow ones here that have already past their prime, and then on this one I got a nice little white pond iris that's just about to bloom, and there's a yellow one back there that's still looking pretty good. This plant here, a bamboo, stayed in the house, wintered over inside the house. Bringing it back out here, it looks like it's got a little sun scorched, but maybe I'll just trim that back and see how it does. And there's the kids, 2 of them. Now I'm going out, but you're not. No, you stay. I'm coming right back. I just gotta show everybody the pond, I think. That's what I'm gonna try to do here. I'm kind of shooting into the sun, so let me get turned around here. So it's not quite that bad. Now, the good news is the pond is greening up nicely. We've got the annuals planted that we're going to plant. The azaleas are blooming. The succulents are growing like crazy, and all the perennials are starting to come in. The bad news is it's just kind of yucky still, especially with the rain that we had. So I need to go back in here and do a little more vacuuming, and maybe do another round of clarifying. But we do have a very nice stand of lilies there, and they should last throughout the season anyway, even if they don't bloom much more after this. What else to show you? I've got there's nothing new back here. You've already seen the new deck. The flowers are coming in. We've got some asparagus coming in off this back deck, which was the original stand of asparagus, and we've actually pulled a few asparagus from this as well, while we're still leaving some to grow up and produce more next year. And take a look at the fruit trees. Last year we didn't have nothing on this guy, which is the pear tree, and hopefully you can see the number of pears we got hanging out here. So you never know how many of them are going to stick around for the full season, but at least it's a promising start, and that is likewise true for the nectarine tree. You can probably see that cluster of nectarines, and they are throughout this tree so far, and the same is true for the peach tree. And I think I'm aimed at a few of them there. They're little fuzzy balls. So that looks pretty good. Now, like I said, I haven't shot any drone footage, but I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna. And one of the things that, Vanina has been clearing out the back quite a bit, turning it into the Enchanted Forest. You've seen some of the footage of us walking back there, or me walking back there. One of the things we found was a tulip poplar. Never even noticed that it was back there before. And so I'm hoping to get a little drone footage of that, the blossoms on them, which look a little bit like tulips, and the tree itself, which it's really nice. We walk out there every day now, do loops for our cardio, and it's really nice to be able to enjoy it out there, even when the weather is yucky. And it changes a little bit every single day, so it's kind of nice. Anyway, anything else? I don't think so. I could show you Jolie, who is patiently waiting for anything else to happen. Like, can we go inside or something? And of course, little Cassie, who's just waiting to see what I'm going to do next. And we might as well go over and say hello to the explorer, Mr. Franklin. Good boy. And a few of the flowers and ornamental grass that's been planted around. So I think that is all there is to show you, all there is to talk about, and all there is to say about Marvin Gardens, May 2021. So we are less than 24 hours away from meteorological summer, June 1st, and only about 3 weeks away from actual summer solstice. So Marvin Gardens, May 2021. Hope you guys are having a great start to your summer, and that you will have a great summer. We had a delightful family gathering yesterday, in spite of the rain and the temperatures in the 40s and 50s. It was a nice barbecue out back. And so anyway, like I said, have a great summer, rest of your summer, or the beginning of summer. And who is this guy? Anyway, this is Marvin Gardens, May 2021. We'll see you next month in June, y'all. Bye-bye.